Hello again and welcome to New York Talk Scout Report. This time we're looking ahead to Southampton, who come into town on Saturday. We have Alfie from the Total Saints podcast. How are you doing, Alfie?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, to be fair. I'm looking forward. It'll be my first trip to the New York, to be fair, so I'm excited.
I think it's the first league game this season, the first league meeting since the 60s or something, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where Rotherham were when Saints were in League One in about 10, 12 years ago, but he must have been League Two for that season.
League Two, yeah. So talking about Southampton, because we obviously played, you're on this incredible unbeaten run at the minute. I think we played the third game in this run. And then when we were playing at the time, sort of thinking there's still question marks over Russ Martin, because there was not long after the Sunderland game and the Leicester defeat, and there were big questions, and we managed to pull this raw. We'll be talking about it in a minute, but has he turned it around? Has something changed to sort of get this run, or is it just clicked? Where's this unbeaten run come from?
Well, where it's come from is a good question. I don't think anyone really expected to go 22 games unbeaten, because it is the longest unbeaten run in the club's all-time history, not just the Football League, all-time. So since about 1897 or whatever it is, 1886. It's such a long run. I mean, that result against Rotherham, I mean, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, you had a big, even though Saints won the 2 games prior, you had a big reaction at full time where people weren't very happy. Flynn Downs copped a bit of abuse, and I think he sort of spoke to us about it after the game. But I think Russell Martin still hasn't gotten over that result, because I think he probably feels that Saints deserves a win. I think most people felt that probably did, but obviously the goalkeeper had an absolute worldie. Yeah. I don't know exactly what he's done. I think they've stuck to their principles. The players have just gotten more used to it. They've obviously signed a couple, and they had lads like Taylor Howard-Bellis come in the summer, and they've just really got up to speed, and it's just improved them massively. But yeah, I think it's just a case of everybody's really together. They're all on the same page. I think with that, if you've got the quality, then the results start to come.
I know in that run last week, we drew a few weeks later to Huddersfield. Is there an issue with playing teams that are going to sit in and make things difficult, or was it just our keeper had a world class, a ridiculous game? It was a similar kind of thing with Huddersfield.
No, that is the one issue at the moment, because if you look at the teams that have come and tried to play against Saints, on top of that, I'm thinking Blackburn, Swansea, to an extent, Plymouth. They're the teams that get hammered 4-0, 5-0. The ones that sit back and put 10 men behind the ball, they know what Russell Martin's going to do with his team. They frustrate you. And I think on New Year's Day we went to Norwich, and they played literally 10 men behind the ball. You had the manager being called out by the fans all the way through the game. I think Chris Sutton called it a disgrace afterwards, but they were still in the game after 55 minutes. They got a result. They got a 1-1 draw, just like Rotherham. So there is that weakness with Southampton. At home, they're getting better at breaking teams down, but they don't often score too many on the road. I think they scored 3 against Swansea last time on the road, and that was the first time they scored like more than 2, I think, away from home for a long time. So there is still that question mark.
And earlier the season, it sort of looked like the top 2 was almost a foregone conclusion. Leicester were miles ahead, and Ipswich had built up a massive gap. And this run's brought Southampton well into play. Again, how exciting are you looking to this next 3 months end of the season? Are you looking forward to a promotion run?
Well, they've got to go to Ellen Road on the final day of the season, and I feel that has the potential to be basically a playoff final before the playoffs. They've also got to visit Ipswich and Leicester, so although they've sort of pulled themselves within touching distance, if they don't get the results in those 3 games, it could easily go the other way again. There was a feeling, I think, at the club, and sort of speaking to the club CEO and stuff like that Ipswich were obviously massively outperforming. Their budget is a third of the size of Leeds, Saints, and Leicester. So I think they always felt that there would be a bit of a blip from them. I think Leicester's probably the biggest surprise, that right now with the signing of David Brooks and all the momentum, there is a feeling that Saints could go and potentially win the whole thing. But I think the only thing that really matters in the Championship is finishing in the top 2 and then getting out of it. So I think we'll have to see what happens, but it's going to be a really interesting end to the season. Yeah,
it's going to be fun for you guys. You mentioned them about the away goal, not many away goals. We've played Russ Martin teams quite a lot over Swansea when they play at Swansea and stuff like that. Is there a slightly different style away from home, or is it just you're playing away from home so it's more difficult?
Do you know what? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I wouldn't say it's a different style, because Russell Martin, I think he said to me last week that his stubbornness has got him this far, and he is stubborn. He's a good kind of stubborn. He doesn't change for anything. So I don't think they changed the way they play. Maybe there is a slightly different impetus, or they go away from home and the players just have that little extra nerve where they think, well, we don't really want to assert ourselves on the game. But I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because you think at the end of the day, it's just 11 players kicking a football. So what's the difference where you are? But there's always been a home advantage. I think, with the likes of Adam Armstrong, I mean, he's going to be up there for the top scorer. They've got Ryan Fraser, who's banging form, Che Adams, who, if he's still here by Saturday, obviously we're recording this before deadline day, he might not be here. Hopefully he will be. Then they've got a front 3 that should put 2 or 3 past most teams in the division. Obviously, the test will be getting past Johansson, I think his name is, in net, because I couldn't believe how good he was at St Mary's.
Yeah, that game was ridiculous. I still can't work out how we weren't 4-0 down inside the half an hour. It was just one of those ridiculous games.
I mean, if Saints get promoted, my first question to Russell Martin is going to be, have you gotten over the Rotherham result yet? Because I think he's mentioned it about 5 or 6 times in press conferences and in talks and stuff since. He really was fuming about that. I mean, fair play to Rotherham, obviously, for getting a result. I
think we've got a really good record here. I don't think he's beaten us yet. I think we've drawn every single time.
Is it? Yeah, nice.
I think so. I don't think he likes us, which is it's the Rotherham way. You mentioned David Brooks potentially coming in there. They talked about that January transfer window, because January is always key to whether he's trying to stay up or go down. And to bring someone like David Brooks is going to be a brilliant signing. Is any other business worth noting?
Yes. They brought Joe Rothwell in, so basically they've signed 2 players, and this will probably be the only 2 senior players they've signed. They've both come on loan from Bournemouth. Obviously Saints are usually the league above Bournemouth, so I suppose there's a bit of an interesting dynamic. But Joe Rothwell's come in. He's obviously a midfielder, played for Blackburn. You'll probably know him. He's going to take a little while to get up to speed, I think. He's played a couple of games. He played a few minutes against Swansea, and he played at the weekend against Watford in the FA Cup, and he was just a little bit off the pace. I think Russell Martin said that he's going to have his brain fried with information because of the way that they play, and I think that probably is true. But David Brooks, I think that's a fantastic signing. Any team in the Championship would be lucky to get David Brooks, and they've just confirmed it literally an hour before we started recording this. So he'll be on loan for the rest of the season. He scored, I think, 5 goals in the last time in the Championship, 10 assists. He absolutely murdered Swansea on Thursday in the Cup. He's somebody who's ready to come into the team. But I appreciate that world's smallest violin will come out now because not everyone has this situation, but he's got a bit of a headache on his hands with who he's going to play up front because they've got 6 attackers vying for 3 spots. I know it's a bit of a luxury.
Okay, I can only imagine what that feels like right now. Let's finish on a prediction. Birdman, our last result against you guys. It's a difficult game, even more difficult game to predict because we're unpredictable. What's your gut telling you for Saturday?
What's your prediction first?
1-1 probably.
Was it? Yeah. That would be obviously a great result for Rotherham. Saints will be going there hoping, expecting to win. Obviously, they've got to keep the pressure on the top 2. We do a prediction on the Total Saints podcast, and I said 2-0, so I will stick with 2-0. But I am always a little bit worried because, like you said, I think when teams know how to set up against the Russell Martin side, and they know that, all right, it's not going to be the most attractive 90 minutes of football, but at the end of the day, the result is the only important thing. I think that they can definitely do a job, and it wouldn't surprise me if they came away with a 1-1 draw. Absolutely not.
Yeah, Liam Richardson's kind of doubled down on that since Matt Taylor came in. Liam Richardson, we've picked up a couple of points. We picked up a point at Blackburn and Borough, playing just sort of not dirty, but just stopping the game, making it frustrating. I'd be amazed if we don't try and do the same. I'd be amazed if we don't do that. But then for us, we're 8 points drift. We need to win, so it's a difficult balance that we're in.
That's true. But I think it's one of those games where you probably would you probably count this one as a 0-pointer. So if you get 1, then that'll feel like a massive boost, hopefully, for the lads. It'd be a shame. I don't know exactly what Rotherham have done for the last few seasons, but I know they always sort of bounce up and down. I'm a Bristol City fan by trade, so I've been to a couple of games at Ashton Gate. I'd like to see that Rotherham will stay up. I am looking forward to coming to New York because I've never been before.
Love the little stadium. When I say it, sorry, when outside people say love the little stadium, it sounds patronising. When I say it,
no, you can say it. Yeah, it's always
thank you very much, Alfie. So, everyone wants to check out Total Saints podcast, go and find out. If you want some obviously a Rotherham talk on their preview for the game as well. Thank you very much, Alfie. Appreciate you coming on tonight.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody, who watch. Make sure you subscribe and like the video as well. And we'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers. Thank you.